Hello and welcome to Unpreachy, a podcast of homilies from St. John Chrysostom Parish. Today, Father Ed Hallinan reflects on Luke chapter 3, verses 15, 16, 21, and 22, the Gospel reading for the baptism of the Lord, Sunday, January 12th, 2025.
Again, welcome everyone. What we try to do on the Feast of the Baptism of the Lord is we send a letter to all of our folks that had a child baptized in the past year, and we welcome them to this Mass. And then we have a special blessing for them after the homily. So whether you're sitting up here in the reserve seating or if you're sitting somewhere else, we're very, very happy that you are here and with us today. Archbishop Perez asked all of the pastors to read a letter to all of the faithful of the Archdiocese of Philadelphia. Last night at the 4 o'clock, I got through around 2/3 of the letter and realized I had gone 20 minutes. And I still had a third to go. So I stopped at that point and we moved on because it was just too long. So what I tried to do at the 8 was to try to give a summary of what it was the Archbishop was saying. Now, what I'm going to be talking about today, we emailed you this past week. And in that email from the Archbishop, you have the letter itself. So you can just click on it, on that email that we sent out. If by chance you didn't get the email, you can go to the parish website, and his letter is also on the parish website. The Archbishop starts off by saying that he's been here for 5 years. Now, in reality, he's been here longer than that. He was a priest of Philadelphia that was here for 20 or 22 years. He was made an auxiliary bishop and went up to New York. And then from New York, he was named the Bishop of Cleveland. And then in an unusual move, Pope Francis appointed him back to his own diocese here in Philadelphia to be the Archbishop. The Archbishop is of Cuban descent. He often jokes, and I'm quoting him, I'm not quoting myself, I was conceived in Cuba and I was born in Miami. Okay, all right. So anyway, he says that in the 5 years that he's been here, when he does confirmations, when he does parish masses, when he does masses for special groups at the cathedral, the one thing that he really tries to do is to listen. And he says that when he listens, he realizes that the last 20 years have been a difficult 20 years for the people of the Archdiocese of Philadelphia, primarily because of the clergy sex abuse. And he gets a sense that people feel in regards to their faith in a sense of crisis. And he said what he would like to do is to try to transform our crisis into a time of hope. One of the things that he states is that out of 100 Catholics, about 17 of 100 Catholics are going to church on a regular basis. 83 out of 100 are not. And that statistic is across the entire Archdiocese, and it may be across the nation. That the amount of people going to church has gone lower. Post-COVID, it's gone lower again. And what he would like to do is to seek your assistance, our assistance, and how we can try to restore, to build up the church in Philadelphia. Another issue that we have is that our priests, our numbers are getting lower and lower. The majority of our priests are elderly, probably 65 and above. And one of the things that he was asked when he showed up the first day in Philadelphia after being named here was, do you plan on closing parishes? And when he was asked that question, he said, I've come here to build up parishes. I've come here to build up people's faith in Jesus Christ. So I'm not focused on closing. I'm focused on building up parishes. I believe Archbishop Perez was a priest here when Chester had 6 parishes closed and 1 took the place of 6. I was there for that in 1993. It was a really horrible experience for the people of Chester. Up at North Broad Street, it was called Holy Child Parish on North Broad Street. A lot of people called it the Second Cathedral. It was this big, beautiful church. And what they did up there was they closed 3 parishes into 1. And then I have shared with you, I was at St. Martin de Porres in North Philly, where they closed 6 parishes and then opened 1. He said that in hindsight, he thinks that this was a bad move. He says that he wishes the church tried to be creative into maintaining other types of presence that would have benefited the community. But what we did is we basically got our wagon, we put all our toys in it, and we just pulled the wagon away and left guys like me there to try to create a community, but often without money, without resources, without staff. And so he's trying to offset that. So he is trying to look at these areas that we've abandoned and to try to figure out how can the Church of the Archdiocese of Philadelphia be present. Whether it's with social services, whether it's through language schools, whether it is through offering legal services, whether it is through food, clothing, how can the church, instead of leaving a neighborhood, how can a church figure out another way to be present that'll really help the folks? What he is going to try to do is form what he calls hub parishes. All right? And what he says a hub parish is, it's a parish that not only the people of the parish, but that the archdiocese invests resources to. All right? I'm going to give you a hypothetical. Okay, let's say St. John Chrysostom becomes a hub parish. All right? What the diocese would do is take a look at St. John Chrysostom. What do we have to offer? What would be a benefit that we don't maybe have to offer that would benefit 8 or 10 parishes around us? So he wouldn't close the 8 or 10 parishes, but what he would do is invest in the hub, and those people in the other parishes, if they don't have a youth group, they would send their kids to the hub for the youth group. If they didn't have enough kids for CYO, we don't have that problem here, but they would send their kids here for CYO. If they didn't have facilities, that we would try to share our facilities with others. At these hubs, the other change that we might see is that there may be laity that run the hub. Now, why is that? Well, number one, because you're competent. Number two, because you do many things that take place here are not from me. They are from you. And that's why this is such a great parish to be in. But also what they would do is they would begin floating priests for masses and sacramental duty, because the fact that the number of priests is getting so low. So that we would see people that would be educated in the running of a parish, and that might be the look of the future. So what he plans on doing is having listening sessions throughout every county in the Archdiocese. And so if you go onto the parish website and you hit the Archbishop's letter, one of the things that you may see is 10 or 15 locations in Delaware County where they're going to have listening sessions. I'm hoping, even though a lot of those locations are very close to us, that we may have a listening session, one or two here. But with the variety that they offer, you will be able to attend one of those sessions and also get a chance to articulate your experience of a Catholic. The other thing that he wants to do, and he doesn't want to do this with judgment, he doesn't want to do this with condemnation, but he wants to invite people, the 83%. He wants to welcome and invite them home. And that's going to be the focus of the additional resources that he places into these hub parishes, is to try to come up with various ways to invite people back into the church. One of the things that I love about Advent and Christmas here is when folks are donating to all the various causes we have. I run into parishioners I only see at Christmas. They come back to give. They come back to participate in the Giving Tree, Adopt a Family, the various places in Chester. That makes their heart warm. That's an opportunity for us, his church, to welcome brothers and sisters back, but to also to try to be sensitive and not to clobber them over the head with a sledgehammer, okay? Where have you been? And go to confession first and then we'll have you come back. No, it's like a warmer type of welcoming with no judgment. I think it's important, the 83% that we don't see in church are our sons and daughters, nieces and nephews, brothers and sisters, parents, children, co-workers. And we may know a lot of folks that are former Catholics that are good people, good living people. So the church really has to watch that we don't condemn, that we don't judge. And what we do is we follow the example of Jesus, and that we welcome people back. And we welcome them with love. We welcome them with mercy, because that's the message of Jesus Christ. And that is the most important element in this whole endeavor in bringing people back to church, is to give them an experience of encountering Jesus through you, encountering Jesus through prayer, encountering Jesus through service, encountering Jesus through the Eucharist. A lot of times, certain elements of our faith entice people, speak to people. We got to welcome that. We have to revere, give reverence to that, in people's lives, and let God work with them in regards to bringing them back more in a totality. So you're going to be seeing this probably on the news. You're going to be reading about it in the newspaper. You'll be hearing about it more from us here in the parish, in the bulletin, on the web page from the pulpit. But I just wanted to give you a sense of what he's trying to accomplish. And he looks at this as like a 15 to 20 year endeavor. He realizes there's no quick fix. It's going to take time. It's going to take prayer. It's going to take faith. But he just really wanted you to know what he was thinking, what he's going to implement. And he needs your prayers, our support, and trying to make the Archdiocese of Philadelphia one of more where people practice, feel welcomed, and want to share Christ's love. God bless you.
Unpreachy is a production of St. John Chrysostom Parish in Wallingford, Pennsylvania. Visit us at sjcparish.org. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend. This podcast was produced by Brendan Lorden with music by Skytoes on Upbeat. Thanks for listening. Be well.